CM Punk, you should just looked at him and I'm not shaking your hand. Or one of them. Because they're not attacking each other. They just don't like each other. And if one of them didn't shake the other's hand, now that's a story that can continue. Why didn't you do it? Well, I didn't want to. That's the best reason. I don't much like the guy. I'll team up with him. Don't mean I like him, though.
Well, the Bloodline did win. The OG Bloodline, shall we say. The OG Bloodline gets the win over Solo Sikoa and his group in the Men's War Games match. CM Punk and Roman Reigns, these two worked incredibly well together with one another. They end up shaking hands at the end of this. CM Punk now has a favor from Paul Heyman in his back pocket. What do we think said favor is? SP3, I'll start with you. What do we think said favor is? When do we think we find out what that favor is?
CM Punk has been very adamant over the last couple of months, especially after he beat Drew McIntyre back at Bash in Berlin. He wants the World Championship, whether that be the World Heavyweight Championship or the undisputed WWE Championship. So I wouldn't be surprised if the MacGuffin of the favor is above our head for a few months, and it eventually gets cashed in when Roman Reigns regains the undisputed WWE Championship. And it's him cashing it in with Paul Heyman that he gets the shot, and that they probably do that match at like a SummerSlam.
Good.
It definitely.
Hey, I wouldn't have had CM Punk. I wouldn't have had Roman Reigns shake his hand. Who offered the hand first? Roman?
Yeah.
CM Punk, you should just looked at him and I'm not shaking your hand. Or one of them. Because they're not attacking each other. They just don't like each other. And if one of them didn't shake the other's hand, now that's a story that can continue. Why didn't you do it? Well, I didn't want to. That's the best reason. I don't much like the guy. I'll team up with him. Don't mean I like him, though.
You think you know all the wrestling stories? There's more you haven't heard yet. Join us on Backstage Pass.
Yeah, I think it's a sign, at least from CM Punk's point of view, is like, okay, I can play ball. I can remain civil. Because I got everything I wanted. I helped you. You won. I've got this favor in my back pocket. And to Sid's point, I think he also does have Paul Heyman. Like, I don't think Paul Heyman is going to be Roman Reigns' wise man for much longer, whenever they decide to pull the trigger on this rivalry. Because Paul Heyman has always been the guy who is going to align himself with whomever he believes gives him the best opportunity of survival. That's why I didn't buy into Paul Heyman joining Solo Sikoa upon his return, even though he was his doppelganger as far as, you know, the t-shirt and the pocket square and all that stuff. I'm like, this man just got put, like, the one time he finally sticks up for himself and he does the right thing, he gets put through the announcer's desk. Why is he going to come back and now acknowledge Solo? No, screw that guy. But he's also not going to feel like Roman Reigns has his back, because Roman Reigns disappeared after WrestleMania and left him high and dry and left him in this utter hell of having to deal with Solo Sikoa. So I think, yes, he's going to align himself with his good buddy CM Punk, who's now back in WWE. I do think that's the direction they're going to go, Dutch.
So there's a lot of doors open to them. So they'll sit on this, and well, they probably already got a way out of it anyway. But the doors are open. They're not trying to open any doors. The door's unlocked. So all they got to do is go through it, and it'll work. Because one may work a little better than the other, but I think both of them would work.
This whole thing, though, is a testament to why Roman Reigns is the number one guy in the entire wrestling industry right now, because of the amount of money matchups, dream matchups that he has at his disposal from the WWE roster right now. Because, you know, coming out of Survivor Series, we're going to get Roman versus Solo. You know, eventually we're going to get Roman versus Jacob Fatu. Roman versus Cody 3. That's a big time money matchup. Of course, there's Roman and Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins kind of teased that on the road to Survivor Series. Now we got Roman and CM Punk. And of course, the big one that we're going to get at a WrestleMania, whether it be 41, 42, or beyond, long gamer, is Dwayne, the final boss, Johnson, The Rock.
Yep, 100%. Finally here, gentlemen, real quick, Gunther retained the World Heavyweight Championship over Damian Priest. Now, there was a
Yes.
story. There was a story they were telling with Gunther, and it is one that LA Knight, or excuse me,
Screw the stories. Just have Gunther just beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Thank
That's what gets
you.
over with. Yeah. Just go out there and beat him
A
up.
story they were telling with Gunther that SP3 was very critical of, but the one that they were trying to convey is that, you know, Gunther's confidence was rocked a little bit after he lost to Cody Rhodes at Crown Jewel, and they leaned into that story.
He's
And I
talking
thought
For about 2 minutes. For about 2 minutes, and then Damian Priest had a shoulder injury, and they just forgot all that build, and then they gave us a match that led to the same finish that we got at SummerSlam. Thank you, guys. You accomplished so much.
Yeah, I thought Gunther was effective in the fact that he saw that blood, he smelled the blood in the water. Damian Priest injures his shoulder, and all of a sudden the confidence comes back, and you can see that smile on his face. And he went right to attack, and they built the entire match around that shoulder injury. That was the out, Dutch. That's what they had. I understand not wanting Gunther to come in and completely squash Damian Priest, because this is a guy that they are building up as a babyface on Monday Night Raw. He is getting over with the crowd. He's probably more relevant as far as the fans are concerned now than when he was World Heavyweight Champion. So you don't want to squash all that momentum by having Gunther whoop his ass, but they gave him the out with the shoulder injury. He didn't tap out. He didn't get pinned. He passed out to a sleeper hold that had the injured shoulder wrapped around his own neck. It was very, very effective. But then they had to go and bring Finn Balor back into the equation by having him interfere in the match.
What the?
Why? Why did you have to do that? This helps absolutely nobody.
Well, I don't see the Finn Balor. Who did he come? What did he do? He came in and he screwed up Damian Priest. He did something.
Yeah, he gave Damian Priest a coup de grace on the outside. I think Gunther was pissed and he drop kicked Finn Balor, but it still gave them an extra out for Damian they didn't need. They had already protected him, and now they're continuing a storyline that are few that we believed, or maybe we hoped, that they were done with. But it seems like Judgment Day and the Terror Twins are just going to keep going until the end of time at this point.
Always remember when they do these angles, they're throwing at the wall, and they're going to see what sticks. So while this thing may not have stuck, well, they have to clean the wall off, and they'll throw something new at it the next time out. So, and we'll see what we get out of this. But Gunther, I think, is one of their future stars for a long time. Damian Priest, too. I don't know how far Roman's going to go, but I think they're building the infrastructure, and they're having a record year already. Mm-hmm. So some of these things won't be, perfect in a working sense, but I think they have built the infrastructure to continue, and I think they got a lot of more guys over now than they had 2 years ago, which they had one guy over.
They have. Look, by the time WrestleMania 41 rolls around, they're going to have more over dudes who they don't know what to do with, or won't really have necessarily what we'd call marquee matches, than probably in the 41 history of the event. In all honesty, but they have a lot of great options that they could go with. Like you could do a whole WWE What If series and put together, honestly, 2 or 3 very, very strong cards with completely different matches on them. In my opinion, that may be something I ultimately work on my end.